Ozzy Osbourne, one of the founders of heavy metal and later a reality television star, died today in Birmingham, England, surrounded by his family.
Veteran heavy metal icon John Michael Ozzy Osbourne, founding frontman of Black Sabbath, solo powerhouse, and reality TV patriarch, has died at the age of 76 following a lengthy battle with Parkinson's disease. His family confirmed that he passed away peacefully this morning, surrounded by loved ones. Though no specific cause beyond the progression of his illness was offered, Ozzy's mobility had long been compromised not only by Parkinson's but also by the cumulative effects of past accidents and surgeries. Today, we look back on a life lived fiercely across three defining chapters: the architect of heavy metal, the solo trailblazer, and the warmly human TV dad. Birmingham roots, from council house boy to rock visionary. Born December 3, 1948, in the coal-stained district of Aston, Birmingham, John Michael Osbourne came of age amid industrial austerity and limited prospects. His father, Jack, worked double shifts in a steel foundry. His mother, Lillian, took on cleaning and bar jobs to keep the family afloat. Ozzy's early years were marked by mischief. Expelled from Thornbridge Grammar School at 15, he drifted through menial work loading freight and stoking furnaces. Yet it was in the dusty pawn shops and market stalls of Birmingham that he discovered his true refuge: skiffle, blues, and early rock and roll records. He scavenged broken guitars and taught himself rudimentary chords in cramped council house living rooms. By night, he sneaked into local pubs and youth clubs, mesmerized by covers of Little Richard and Muddy Waters. "I remember hearing 'She Loves You' on the radio," he'd later recall. "I thought, that's what I want to do." Those humble beginnings ignited a spark that would soon blaze across the world. Forging heavy metal, the birth of Black Sabbath. Assembling the Dark Quartet. In late 1968, guitarist Tony Iommi placed an advertisement seeking a vocalist for his band, then called Earth. Michael Osbourne answered. His raw, quivering voice and frenetic stage presence sealed the deal alongside Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. Rechristened Black Sabbath, after a local horror film poster, they began rehearsing in a dilapidated church hall above a bingo parlor. Debut Shockwaves. Their self-titled debut album, released in February 1970, unleashed a sound as heavy as Birmingham's furnaces. Down-tuned riffs, tribal drum patterns, and Ozzy's eerie vocals conjured images of occult dread and societal malaise. Tracks like NIB and The Wizard signaled a radical departure from psychedelic rock, planting the seeds for an entirely new genre. Paranoid and its legacy. By September 1970, Paranoid hit shelves, delivering Paranoid, War Pigs, and Iron Man, songs that became anthems for a generation grappling with political turmoil, war, and existential angst. The album's bleak vision and thunderous groove cemented Black Sabbath as heavy metal's architects. They filled stadiums worldwide, often opening for rock giants, yet quickly outgrowing those roles to become headliners themselves. Ozzy's manic on-stage antics, leaping into Marshall stacks, surprising audiences with unpredictable dives, etched his place as metal's primal showman. The shock factor, stunts and scandals. Doves, bats, and moral panic. Ozzy's willingness to court controversy became legend. In 1981, Sharon Arden, then his publicist, released 2 white doves at a record label showcase. Believing they were rubber props, Ozzy bit their heads off, an instinctive act that ignited tabloid outrage. The following year, at a Des Moines concert, he bit the head off a live bat tossed on stage, later learning it was real. These stunts sparked moral panics, parents called for boycotts, pundits decried him as a satanic influence, and some radio stations banned his music. Ozzy, undeterred, shrugged off the fury. "It's all show business," he said. "I'm just Ozzy Osbourne, take me or leave me." In truth, these shock tactics underscored his authenticity and refusal to fit any mold, rallying fans who prized his unfiltered rebellion over sanitized spectacle. Exile and resurrection, Ozzy's solo triumph. Fired, but not finished. By the close of the 1970s, Black Sabbath, once the untouchable architects of heavy metal, found themselves frayed by relentless touring, mounting debts, and the ever-present specter of substance abuse. In 1979, the band made the agonizing decision to part ways with their founding frontman. For a figure so closely identified with Sabbath's brooding riffs and occult imagery, this dismissal felt at once unthinkable and definitive. Critics and fans alike wondered if Ozzy Osbourne would ever reclaim his throne or if the Prince of Darkness had finally met his reckoning. But Sharon Arden, daughter of Sabbath's manager and later Ozzy's wife, believed otherwise. Meeting backstage in 1979, she saw in Ozzy a spark that no dismissal could extinguish. Under her tenacious guidance, Ozzy embarked on a bold new chapter, a solo career that would not only revive his fortunes but reshape the landscape of hard rock. Blizzard of Oz and the Randy Rhoads Revolution. In 1980, Ozzy assembled a fresh lineup, headlined by Californian guitar prodigy Randy Rhoads, whose classical training and flamethrower technique offered a dazzling counterpoint to Ozzy's raw, emotional vocals. The result was Blizzard of Oz, an album that shattered expectations. Crazy Train exploded onto airwaves with its instantly memorable riff and anthemic chorus, capturing both the chaos and determination of a man refusing to be defined by his past. Mr. Crowley juxtaposed eerie, minor-key melodies with Rhodes's neoclassical flourishes, underpinning Ozzy's haunting lyrics on obsession and the unknown. Blizzard of Oz went multi-platinum, proving that Ozzy's star power had never dimmed, only evolved. Rhodes's virtuosic work became the blueprint for modern metal guitar, and Ozzy's willingness to bear his inner turmoil through lyrics set a new standard for emotional honesty in heavy music. Tragedy and tenacity. Just as the album's success seemed unassailable, tragedy struck. In March 1982, Randy Rhoads died in a small plane crash, a loss that devastated Ozzy and threatened to derail his newfound momentum. Yet, even in grief, Ozzy's creative fire burned bright. He channeled his sorrow into the epic Diary of a Madman, a track whose shifting tempos and haunting solos mirrored the tumult of his emotions. Determined not to let loss define him, Ozzy turned to new collaborators. Jake E. Lee's blues-infused aggression invigorated Bark at the Moon, 1983, while Zakk Wylde's pinch harmonic signature tones powered later classics such as No Rest for the Wicked, 1988, and No More Tears, 1991. Each guitarist brought a distinct voice. Lee's dark swagger, Wylde's whammy bar theatrics, and both helping Ozzy explore blues grooves, gothic textures, and soaring power ballads. A catalog of reinvention. Across the 1980s and early 90s, Ozzy's solo catalog became a testament to artistic resilience. Bark at the Moon, 1983 introduced cinematic keyboards and a refined, gothic sheen, with the title track becoming a metal staple. The Ultimate Sin, 1986 leaned into darker lyrical themes and polished production, further maturing Ozzy's solo persona. No Rest for the Wicked, 1988 captured raw, guitar-driven aggression, highlighting Ozzy's refusal to rest on past laurels. No More Tears, 1991 blended epic balladry, Mama, I'm Coming Home, with tight, melodic riffs, earning Ozzy one of his heaviest chart successes. Throughout these reinventions, Ozzy remained the emotional anchor, his weathered voice conveying vulnerability as readily as defiance. He never chased trends. Instead, he integrated new influences into his established identity, proving that true artistry thrives on both evolution and authenticity. The Osbournes, reinvention on reality TV. Peeling back the curtains. In 2002, MTV launched The Osbournes, offering viewers a fly-on-the-wall peek at Ozzy, Sharon, and their three eldest children, Kelly, Jack, and Amy, in their Los Angeles home. Gone was the snarling metal god, in his place was a bemused patriarch yelling at toddlers, fumbling with remote controls, and binging on BBC wildlife documentaries. A cultural phenomenon. The Osbournes attracted 15 to 20 million viewers per episode and won an Emmy in 2002. It redefined celebrity, presenting Ozzy not as an aloof deity but a flawed, loving father. Fans around the globe laughed as he scolded his kids, cried as he comforted them, and related to his universal misadventures. The show introduced Ozzy to younger audiences and proved his authenticity transcended music, cementing his status as a cultural touchstone. Health battles, ATV, falls, and Parkinson's disease. Near-fatal ATV wreck. In March 2003, a quad bike accident on Ozzy's Tennessee estate nearly ended his life, fractured neck, back, and ribs. Sharon later revealed he had flatlined before medics revived him. After a grueling year of surgeries and rehab, Ozzy returned to performing, his comeback hailed as miraculous. Parkinson's diagnosis. A fall in 2019 aggravated old injuries, prompting multiple surgeries. In February 2020, Ozzy publicly announced a Parkinson's disease type 2 diagnosis on Good Morning America, sharing videos of his tremors and masking fear with humor. "I'm shaking like a rat in a thunderstorm," he quipped. His candor spurred record donations to Parkinson's foundations, illustrating his power to transform personal adversity into collective awareness. Despite his physical decline, Ozzy declared, "Music is what I do, it's the greatest love affair I've ever had." Spurred by Sharon's conviction that purpose could sustain him, he conceived a final farewell performance, an act of defiance against aging and illness. Farewell at Villa Park, a triumphant swan song. 17 days ago, on July 5, 2025, Villa Park brimmed with anticipation. Confined to a hydraulic throne, Ozzy reunited with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. The stadium erupted as the opening riff of Black Sabbath thundered. Though his voice bore the tremors of Parkinson's, it carried haunting clarity. He stormed through 9 classics, Iron Man, War Pigs, Paranoid, each met with deafening roars. Between songs, his dry humor shone, Old Mind, Young Energy, Bear With Me. His parting rallying cry, Go Crazy One Last Time, sparked a roar that shook Villa Park's terraces. Over 2 electric hours, Ozzy turned farewell into celebration, closing his stage career on a note of defiant triumph. A moment of love, backstage proposal. Behind the scenes, Slipknot DJ Sid Wilson knelt before Kelly Osbourne and proposed marriage. Cameras rolled as Ozzy's misty-eyed grin revealed pride beyond words. In that intimate tableau, rock royalty turned proud father, the night's thunderous finale yielded to a tender testament. Amid roaring goodbyes, it is love that endures. Tributes and testimonials, the world responds. News of Ozzy's death unleashed a torrent of tributes. Metallica posted a single broken heart emoji alongside an archival photo. Guns N' Roses' / wrote, "Your spirit was as wild as your stories, rest in power." Slayer's Kerry King hailed him as the thunder that preceded us all. Beyond metal, Sir Elton John praised his boundless warmth. Post Malone shared a tearful cover of Crazy Train. Dolly Parton lauded his openness about illness. Radio stations from Sao Paulo to Seoul ran Marathon Sabbath and Ozzy solo specials. Streaming platforms reported record spikes in streams. Murals sprang up in Birmingham, Los Angeles, and Sao Paulo, testaments to a global bond that transcended generations. Beyond the music, cultural phenomenon and fashion icon. Ozzy's reach extended into comic books, Ozzy and the Order of the Black Sabbath, and video games like Guitar Hero, Warriors of Rock. Fashion designers channeled his leather and stud aesthetic into runway collections, streetwear brands released hoodies bearing his caricature. Vinyl collectors hunted rare picture discs featuring his watercolors, moody landscapes of skeletal trees and storm-lashed skies. Art museums prepared Shades of Darkness, an exhibition of his paintings alongside costume displays and lyric notebooks. Critics hailed Ozzy's art as outsider expressionism, revealing the introspective heart behind the thunderous stage persona. Even the culinary world paid homage with Paranoid pints in British pubs and Crazy Train pastries in Tokyo cafes. The Osbourne legacy, preservation and philanthropy. In Ozzy's memory, Sharon and their children mobilized swiftly. Spring 2026 will see the Ozzy, The Art and Soul of Darkness exhibit debut in Birmingham before touring globally, featuring paintings, costumes, and immersive audio stations. Elliot Osbourne's documentary, Behind the Darkness, will premiere on major platforms, drawing from unreleased archives for an intimate family portrait. Kelly Osbourne, partnering with Live Nation, announced Ozzy Rising, a tribute concert series spotlighting genre defiers. Proceeds will endow the Ozzy Osbourne Music Scholarship, supporting boundary-pushing young artists. The Osbourne Wellness Fund will expand grants to children's hospitals, veteran mental health programs, and Parkinson's research. Sharon's collaboration with biotech firms aims to develop a smart glove counteracting tremors, a fitting tribute to Ozzy's battles and a legacy of hope forged in adversity. An eternal echo, Ozzy's undying influence. Ozzy Osbourne's Odyssey. From Birmingham's soot-choked streets to global superstardom, embodies rock and roll's paradox, that chaos can spark creativity and vulnerability can forge unity. He gave voice to society's deepest fears, challenged taboos, and transformed personal demons into universal anthems. Though the Prince of Darkness has drawn his final bow, his thunder echoes on, in every power chord, every collective chorus, and every artist daring to embrace their own shadows. Ozzy Osbourne may be gone, but his spirit remains forever loud.